Right now, my people have a Barrett M82 sniper rifle at her head. Hang up the call,
911, what's your
or we
emergency?
execute.
So you're
your
probably
girlfriend.
done with presents and you're bored during the holiday. I mean, why else would you be watching this video? Came out in the holidays, so Merry Christmas if you're stopping by, and it's time to listen to Mom. Well, I got a movie for you to watch, and it's not bad. It's better than the movie Trap, and I feel like this is what Trap was trying to be, but it just failed. It's a really great slow burn thriller, just how essentially we used to watch growing up, just nonstop thrillers. It just doesn't wrap it up nicely, but it starts off really, really well. Keep in mind this movie is not perfect, but for what it is, again, it's just surprisingly good. And I'll keep the first half spoiler free. So let's get into the high level of this movie. Carry On is a 2024 action thriller directed by, can't even pronounce that name, but Jaume Collet-Serra, so I apologize, that's the best I got, featuring Taron Egerton as Ethan Kopech. So we just follow Ethan. I imagine, I'm going to mention it later, he's like a Jason Gordon-Levitt. He plays a TSA officer in Los Angeles here, airport on Christmas Eve, which is kind of a Christmas movie. Kind of why I decided to do this review. Ethan is literally essentially just stuck in the middle of a situation where they're trying to get a dangerous package onto an airplane. You follow his tense moments of Carry On. It's labeled as being claustrophobic, catastrophic, and how he tries to outsmart his main antagonist, which is Jason Bateman. He's the main, I guess, villain of this film. It's released on Netflix, so if you got Netflix, I mean, there's no reason not to. It's got pretty good reviews across the board. So what you're going to find interesting is that while I'm giving a lot of praise early on, the spoilers is where it falls apart, like quite literally. So let's start with some of the positives. Our leads are grounded. I think that Taron does a great, well, I would say a wonderful job, because again, praising him next to Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I think is a really great way to say he's got a bright future. I think he commands presence in the film. We follow him throughout the whole film, so we have to like him. If we didn't like him, I think the film just falls apart. And then having the opposite of Jason Bateman during the film of a more serious role compared to his comedic roles, I think are pretty interesting. I also like the mentality of the antagonist, that things are always feel thought out, which leads me to the next point, is that it's logical. Compared to Trap, this film is actually grounded and logical in terms of its twists and turns. Sometimes, I wouldn't even say sometimes, it makes a genuine effort to try to make things make sense. Early in the film, I was questioning, why are we forcing this package onto the plane? But as you kept watching, the reveal continues to help understand the why. And not to spoil anything, but at least the big reveal and overall villain is not coming back over and over and over and over again like some sort of supervillain like Trap did, which I found very odd. But across the board, at least it tries to be clever. It tries to be different when they try to do certain things. I mean, you can poke holes in the logic, which we're going to in a minute, but I appreciate the attempts in trying to be something unique and trying to be a different kind of film in a genre that is, lack for a better word, oversaturated. So let's talk about the bad, which is going to lead to some spoilers of what I think is bad. I'm going to try before the spoilers here that I think some things could be a bit of a stretch, but I think, again, we'll have to go into spoilers to talk about it. And I guess if you don't like some of it that feels cliche, then a guy who, oh no, starts a family stuck in the middle of something, wow, there's nothing unique about it. It's just a stereotypical, basic cliche way to start the film. And it's just above average. I would say even the CGI that they even had was really bad, such as the car crash that they had midway through. It's about an hour and 14 in. That'll make a whole lot of sense when you see it. I would say anything after an hour and 14 in afterwards, it's just the film falls apart completely, as if the writers left, the director got bored, and everyone was like, oh God, we just got to wrap this up, which is going into spoilers. So now we're going to spoilers. Spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, you click off. And so you guys are in the room listening. Spoilers. You better leave. All right, so the end of the movie, when they're fighting, he has this massive chemical agent that is a Novichok, which is dangerous beyond belief, and it breaks. And it never made sense because when they kill Jason Bateman, the door never budges, and you have to believe that this massive, horrible chemical agent that could destroy all of LAX airport can now be condensed in a fridge, essentially, underneath a plane. that is all the way up in the air, and that's not going to impact it whatsoever. It made me question, how is this even possible? Up to this point, he was such a perfect character. Jason Bateman was all over the place, knowing how to solve everything, and this is how he goes out. I mean, that was my biggest gripe, that I just felt like, okay, well, we got to write, it's got to figure out how he dies, or we got to finish the story. I think they could have made a sequel here. He was just too smart to not get away. I felt like it would have been more exciting if things ended that way. Instead, we got this happy ending, quote unquote. I mean, it does end. And also, when they found out what plane that he was going to be in, they never explained why the plane had to take off. Couldn't they have just had the plane grounded? Also, why they had to disarm it while in the air? Couldn't they have disarmed it while having them grounded to begin with? He wasn't going to know, per se. When you watch the movie, there's a lot of, like, at the end, it just... Even later, whenever they had the killer say that he was going to come in and kill his girlfriend, I questioned that too. He came in stabbing people in a loaded airport, and then somehow they didn't sound off alarms to with the plane even being grounded. They let a plane take off with a murder that took place. It just, all of a sudden, this film just goes off the hinges, and I question the brilliant writing. I don't know, maybe he just got tired at the end, but I know it's like, I was thinking it through and I was giving a lot of praise, but then once you get to the end of the film, it was like, I don't know how we managed to get to this point when everything was just done so well up to this point. Jason Bateman had so much control, there's so much presence, so much exciting stuff, that if they just thought it through towards the end just a little bit more, I think it would have been probably one of the better thrillers that we have seen in the past decade, quite literally. And again, maybe it was a CGI car crash scene that ruined everything. And I stutter and stammer as I talk about it, because that is what truly... Go watch it. Anybody who's watched it. After that, I looked at it again. That's where it falls apart. So I know the second half of this, I'm a lot more passionate and serious. Let me just show you the car crash. It is crazy. It's outlandish. And then that's it. I just thought it was just crazy. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye, everybody.